Welcome back, everyone, to Morning Hype. So it may have been an off-year election, but the implications of Election Day 2021 are still important, especially ahead of next year's midterms. So here to help us break down things and what happened yesterday, we've got political analyst Quentin Giles with us from Houston. Quentin, let's go ahead and start this morning in New Jersey. Joe Biden won that state by double digits last year, but the governor's race this morning, they're still neck and neck. So why is this troubling for some Democrats?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's absolutely troubling because Joe Biden just won this state by double digits not that long ago. And so if we look at trends and if we look at how elections happen, essentially the incumbent should be winning by a blowout, but he is not. And that is letting us know that people are not just, or people who supported the Democrats are not just an anti-Trump party. It is no longer allowed to only just be against Trump because Trump is not there. You have to have legitimate issues and deliver on them. The Democrats have them, but have they delivered? And so that's what we're seeing in New Jersey, that people are saying, hey, we reject Trump, but we will still vote for a Republican if they speak to our needs.
Very important to note. We also want to focus on New York's mayor's race. So Eric Adams, now the second black mayor in the city's history. Tell me a little bit about the significance of that win.
Yeah, seeing as how he's a write-in candidate, right? Seeing as how the battle between moderates and progressives has continued to dominate the Democrat Party. And so him being a staple in the police community, coming out saying that, we need more cops and we need to really hone in on New York security and safety. But then you also have progressive candidates, which one might have thought that was going to be the way the Democrat Party moves, especially when you have people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez being in New York herself. So what the significance is that Democrats who are also voting, right? This is completely changing the landscape, are showing the party that they are always not going to go for the ultra progressive candidate and that they still would like a moderate as well. And so every state is not the same and you have to take it for what it is. So it's a complete shocker that the progressive candidate did not win and that we're sitting here talking about a moderate today.
Right. Lots of shockers. Maybe one people would consider also in Virginia. So Democrat Terry McAuliffe losing his reelection bid to Republican Glenn Youngkin. But some heavy hitters really were on the campaign trail for McAuliffe. President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, even former President Barack Obama. Now, we know that Virginia historically is really important when it comes to politics. So does this possibly signal a shift for the rest of the country?
It absolutely does. And it's also very embarrassing for the Democrats. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that because such heavy hitters came to campaign for the Democrat and they still lost. What this also is a playbook for Republicans to use. Again, I spoke about the anti-Trump movement a little earlier. This particular Republican kept Trump at bay, but still used his base to get to win the election, still used racial dog whistles, right? And still used attacks that weren't even necessary, like against Toni Morrison, who is actually on my wall right now. So what the implication for the rest of the country is that you can be Trump light and still win as a Republican. And the message for the Democrats is because the Democratic candidate really hugs Joe Biden. That was essentially his message, that he is, a Joe Biden type of Democrat, but that does not work as well. And we need deliverables for people to want to vote for you. So the Democrat Party has a reckoning to do because it's no longer just anti-Trump. That just is not going to work anymore.
Right, and Youngkin really tried to distance himself, as I understand, from Trump to not have that just be what he was running on as well. Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about voter turnout. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Still using Trump dog whistles, but not going full-blown Trump, it's a playbook that worked for him.
It did. Let's go ahead and talk about voter turnout, especially within the black and brown community and also with young voters. What's your sense of just how engaged these two groups were, especially as we're going to head into the midterm elections next year?
Yeah, well, Virginia, we're still waiting on the numbers, but seeing as how 3 million people have come out, that is hand claps for democracy, that people are actually participating. But at large, especially even here in Texas, when we had some constitutional amendments, some real things on the books, young folks and black voter turnout was just, I don't see it being as high. But I also think that is based on voter apathy and deliverables. Since Joe Biden has won, the message from the Democrats was, you have to get out and vote. You have to come and save this democracy. Well, that's not a winning message time and time again. And then especially when you have issues like the George Floyd Policing Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, essentially on the chopping block, essentially being shown that it's not as important to the Democratic Party, who is going after Black and young folks as their base. It provides a sense of voter apathy and provides a sense of non-deliverables. So I don't think I think that's why we are going to see a lower turnout from those two groups.
Okay. How do both parties move forward after this election day?
Well, Republicans have a clear playbook in Virginia, unfortunately, because it is still based in lies. Like, let's call a thing, right? There was still racist dog whistles, but it was proved that you can be Trump light and still win. You don't have to hug Trump anymore like you did when he was in power. So I think that that's going to be the playbook for the Republicans. They're going to try to rinse and repeat that. For the Democrats, because they have the House, because they have the Senate, because they have the White House, they actually have all the power. And so they are going to have to pass real legislation to say, hey, these are the deliverables. Instead of coming out on the media and saying, well, I want this and I want that, go in a room, organize, figure out what you want, and then come and talk to the American people and say, hey, we just did this on prescription medications. We just did this on voting rights. Give the deliverables, because they have all the power. And so if either party wants to win, that's the clearest pathway I see forward.
All right. Don't talk about it, be about it, especially if they want to stay in power. Political analyst Quentin Giles, we appreciate you so much for your time this morning and your insight and perspective.